Hello and welcome to this Business Spotlight interview. I'm delighted today to be joined by Adam Blakey from Perfect Parks. Hi Adam, how are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. So thanks for taking the time to let me find out a little bit more about you and your business. So to start with, could you just give us an idea of what the business is and how long you've been going and some background, please?
Yeah, sure. So the business, well, it wears quite a few hats, to be fair. It's all in the holiday park sector. So we deal with various areas. So we deal with holiday parks across the UK on a number of ways. So we deal with them on lead generation. So we generate leads for them to be able to sell units. We don't tend to work with the holiday side of it. We're more of the sale of an actual lodge. And then we also deal with select number of manufacturers. So we actually work with the manufacturing of lodges and then the sale with them into parks. And then the final hat is that we actually work with them in terms of doing on-park sales. So we actually sell them to the end user as well. So we're quite a sort of multifaceted company, really, in that aspect. But it's sort of grown over sort of 5 years that we've been established. Just to sort of cater for the way that the industry shifted and the way that the need has really sort of arisen.
Okay, perfect. Now, how did you get into that sector? How what was the background, the story in getting involved?
Yeah,
or starting it up?
Yeah, well, definitely not from knowledge of the holiday park sector anyway, as a lot of people end up doing. But how it came about was business partners that are also in the business with myself are from the holiday park sector. So they have a vast array of knowledge from the sales of units to also the manufacturing. And my background is digital marketing. So I built my first website when I was 13, and I've just absolutely taken to it. So I was one of those rare people that knew what they wanted to do from an early age, which is few and far between these days, having 3 kids and knowing what young people are like. So I was just that fortunate person. Absolutely loved it, and I've got involved in every single element of marketing. So not just the websites, but also as the industry has grown, all assets of marketing, whether that be influencer or digital. So with my background in the marketing sector, it was a bit of a match made in heaven, really, having directors that are part of the marketing sector and then directors that are also part of the holiday park sector. So it's just really sort of a great combination.
Cool, absolutely fantastic, great. I mean, to hear about the 13-year-old, and then knowing exactly what it is, great to hear that kind of story. So congratulations, brilliant. So what is it about this, what you're doing now? What is the most what do you enjoy about it the most?
Well, for me personally, I'm still utilising my skills in digital marketing. So, I'm doing something that I love, which, few and far people can say that these days. And, I'm still doing something that I'm very passionate about. Believe it or not, I'm waking up in the morning and I'm excited to get into the office, which, again, a lot of people cannot say. So I'm doing something that I'm passionate about and I am very good at. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but doing this for 20 odd years, you do get good at something, otherwise you shouldn't be doing it at all. But it's also as well being able to go out and see customers as well. With the digital marketing sector, it's quite a sort of office-based job, and you're serving a sort of bit of a faceless customer. And don't get me wrong, you can still generate results, you can still work with that customer, but quite often, you are doing a lot of the work over emails or phone. The one thing, and I've done a few interviews over my time, and the one thing that I always look for when in a good digital marketer is someone who says the best asset is actually putting the understanding of the customer's business as the forefront. You could be great at doing ads, you could be great at doing content, design, graphics, but if you don't understand that person's business, you can't effectively market to them. So one of our USPs and why we've been so successful is that we actually go and visit a customer's park. We actually understand their business from the ground up. What makes it unique, what's in the area, understand price points, speak to customers that are already on there. And then you can go back and then use that knowledge into your marketing because you believe in it. You believe in what you're trying to sell, and that's what you're trying to do as a marketer.
Excellent, brilliant, and that's interesting. So, I'm going to ask you about what differentiates your company from others, and kind of think you answer that. But is that is there anything else you think you kind of give the customer that or your customers that other businesses just don't do?
Yeah, 100%. It's the industry knowledge. 100%. Yeah, I've only had that knowledge from the last 5 years. I go to parks with my business partners, and I'm a little bit of a deer in headlights. I really am, because they are speaking about regulation codes or 14-foot lodges, or like best places to put things, site fees, licensing. And although I understand this terminology, I certainly had to have a steep learning curve with it, which I'm not used to as well. So the one thing I like to say, a marketing company is a marketing company. They normally deal with every single types of companies. It's the way that they're operated. But we only deal with holiday parks. So,
right.
And that's because we know how to serve them, and serve them really, really well. But having that industry knowledge means that the guys that are in the industry and have been for 10, 15, 20 years are working side by side with the marketing team to be able to relate this into that. So you're getting an overall result that actually people care about what they're marketing, and it shows.
Yeah, no, perfect. That's really interesting. So, and what would you attribute your growth to? Over the 5 years, you kind of from a standing start, I guess, in terms of that. What are the key drivers of that growth?
Well, quite a few different combinations. Obviously, luck plays a part. Is it in any business? Anyone that says, "Oh yeah, it's all hard work and there's no luck element to it," are completely lying. You've got to have a bit of luck, even if it's just luck in timing. Luck in timing. The industry, which to be fair, that has played a part with us as well, because obviously the last, as we know, we don't need to go into it, but obviously the last 3 years has been very, very difficult. It's still difficult to today. We're going through this cost of living crisis now, which is affecting every business, especially this sector. But obviously at the back of lockdown, COVID, staycationing went through the roof. So it caused a bit of a perfect storm, because obviously my business is completely generated all around staycations. Whether you're actually staying on a park for a holiday or you're actually buying one, it's all around that. So but that caused a lot of issues because manufacturing couldn't keep up with it. So, you'd be able to have a park that would be able to sell out all of the units. However, manufacturing fast enough. So, so we had that issue, and then you had some big companies that came in, bought parks, bought manufacturers, and then it was just a bit of a perfect storm, if I'm honest with you, that happened. But I'd say that the biggest thing that has sort of made to our success is, it is putting the effort in, putting the hours in. If anyone's watching this that is just starting out, I've been fortunate enough to be part of quite a few companies that I've started out by myself, and then working with various business partners. And it always does come down to, hard work at the end of the day. I was up at 4:30 this morning. I was answering people from China, from India, just because I can catch them at better times of the day and different things. I might finish sometimes at 8 o'clock at night. Sometimes, don't get me wrong, I might finish at 3 and have a game of golf. But, I'll always put in the work when needed. There's never like an off switch. And you've got to have that balance, absolutely. But, hard work always just shine through. So I'd say it's a combination of, hard work, a little bit of luck, and making sure that we're always doing the job to the best of our ability, and making sure that our reputation is always consistent throughout for whoever we work with.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great. Okay. And so you talk about obviously your team. How many people have you got working in this business with you?
Right. So we actually employ, I think, around 8.
Okay.
However, we've got a bit of a network due to the nature of the job that span like sort of around the UK. So we work with a lot of contractors and a lot of sort of agents all around the UK.
Right.
Again, just because of the nature of the business. Like, for instance, like, you know, we need to work with companies like groundworks or electricians or solar companies where we don't in-house that kind of structure. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird structure, if I'm honest with you, as well. Even with the employees, we're just spread out all over the place. So, you know, we've got like people that they might have worked with me for 2 years, but I might have met them once, which is crazy to say as a company. But, you know, they are remote working, and they might be on the road, for instance, doing appointments and things like that. So, don't get me wrong, but, you know, it's to have that sort of like that network of like structure where it is all over the UK than the norm.
So how do you go about kind of build, so with the direct, the 8 employees that you've got, how do you, and then obviously, like you say, you don't get a lot of one-to-one interaction, you know, in person. How do you kind of deal with the kind of, you know, creating that environment where they feel they're part of a team and they're, you know, working for a business and, you know, all working together as one?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
What kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a difficult thing, because in other businesses that I've been part of, that is a hard element to do. You know, when you've got remote working or you've got a bit of a hybrid situation, it's how you create that sort of overall team. The sort of key thing that we've managed to do is that the people that we've employed are employed in the position because they like that element of being able to just get on with the work, solitude, and happy to do that. Or it might be a stage in their life where they are, again, happy with that sort of freedom of being able to like, oh, like, there's no one watching over you. Look, you know, as long as the work's done, it's done. It doesn't matter if, again, you start at 10 o'clock in the morning and should 3. All we're bothered about is that the work's done and it's done correctly. So it's just having a bit of trust and making sure at the employment stage, you're employing the kind of people that can work with that structure, because otherwise it just simply wouldn't work. There's no other way for us to be able to do it, again, due to the nature of the job.
And any tips on, you know, how you've found those people? You know, what do you look for? How do you go about trying to find those kind of ideal?
Well, it depends on the role. It's
of course,
definitely not easy in the digital marketing sector. Certainly not. I've struggled, if I'm honest with you. I think that just a lot of things have happened with the industry over the last few years on the back of, again, you know, the lockdown situation. You know, everything was like 90% office based, few and far between. Now it's like remote or hybrid. And now it's sort of expected as a position. So you get this like crossover, and it's not, in my opinion, in this sector, it's not a good thing, because with the digital marketing element of it, there's nothing better for me, for instance, to be able to just go and grab someone, bring them in my office and have a conversation with them about, let's look at these ads or let's look at this. You know, again, the hybrid situation can work, in my opinion, because you're getting a bit of best of both worlds. But yeah, in terms of the actual other people that are involved in the business, absolutely the best scenario is that it's people we've either worked with before and we know can work, or it's a recommendation from someone else in the industry. All these people have been in the industry and got a proven track history of that. So I think that's the key, really, is getting, you know, strong recommendations from other people that you can trust.
No, good. Good. But I think, absolutely. It's like with business as well, isn't it? Recommendations, referrals are, you know, the lifeblood, aren't they? You trust everyone, you know, you trust people that you know, you trust their advice and stuff. So
absolutely, exactly the same with staff.
Great. So just thinking you know, ahead into the future, what does the future look like for Perfect Parks, and, you know, what do you see as your main challenges moving forwards?
Well, our main challenge at the minute is obviously the cost of living crisis. You know, it's having the unfortunate thing what happened, again, is this perfect storm. So the last year, 2 years of the holiday park industry has gone absolutely through the roof, as you can imagine. So everyone's gone on staycations, you know, in this country. Because of all the rules and regulations around international travel. You know, I did it myself. I love to go abroad. I love to, you know, holiday in different countries, see different cultures. But even myself, you know, I found myself, you know, going to this country a lot more and exploring. And it's, you know, it's beautiful. It's great. You know, there is some absolutely stunning places around the country. But as the rules and regulations have sort of eased off, what's happened is there's been more and more people wanting to go abroad because they haven't done for years. So we had this big boom where loads of people were buying, loads of people were holidaying in this industry. Now, what's happened though is because we've had that boom, the industry has ordered units to make the future years suited. So if they've sold 50 units last year, or they've had 10,000 holidaymakers, then naturally last year think that they're going to be doing that again. However, and you order ahead. You can't not order ahead with this kind of stuff because they take a long time to build, as you can appreciate. So a lot of things have been ordered ahead, but then they've realised that we've had this bit of a slump because of the cost of living, and we're bouncing back slightly now. But it's still all over the place at the minute. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge, just navigating through this cost of living issue. But as we know, through recessions and all that kind of stuff, they come, they go, and there'll be something else in the near future to as a problematic thing. So there's always something, but we're going to overcome it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously it's affecting every business at the moment, isn't it? Just the whole situation, the economy as it stands. But, as you say, you have to pivot and look to where the opportunities are. Yeah. And look for different markets, maybe, etc. In terms of, but interesting. You say the staycation is clearly a big result of that COVID whole situation. A lot of businesses had to pivot and change. And it's interesting what you say. Yeah, cool. So obviously, knowing a little bit about you've started a number of businesses. Obviously, we're focusing on this one today. So, what would you talk about? Obviously, you had. You're fixed. You knew what you wanted to do when you were younger, but if you started a business again today, or started any business again today, what would you do differently? What have you learned?
Wow, a lot of things. It's hard to summarize that question in a short answer, really. There's a lot of things I would have done different from starting a new business we've never been into a business, and there's a lot of things I would have done starting a second business that I would have done. I'll start off with that one because that's a bit more easy to answer, and it's because it's probably more fresher in my mind. Sure. I think the one thing that happened to me when I started another business after starting my first business was I was very lucky to be successful with my first business that I started, and I naively thought that basically could translate to any other business. Right. I just thought I was good at business. Right. Okay. Don't get me wrong, I must have that element in me because I have been successful in a few businesses, but it doesn't translate exactly like that. And it's a steep learning curve that. I made loads of mistakes, and it was a bit of that, I don't know if you ever watched Dragon's Den philosophy, but when you sort of you watch these people on it and they've said, I've spent like £100,000 on an idea. And you sat there thinking, how the hell, why has he spent £100,000 on that idea? Like, surely. And unfortunately, I've been in that situation as well. Not quite that kind of money, but I sort of forgot about the absolute fundamental part of any business, and it's cash flow. Making sure that without anything else, you should be thinking about how can I produce cash straight away from day one, because if you can do that, everything else will fall into place. But again, because I was successful previously, because I had some cash flow behind me already from other businesses and from things I was doing, I invested in an idea where I wanted my business to be in 5 years, thinking I could achieve it all within a short space of time because I've been successful. It's a bad idea to do. Again, just start off small steps, the same way that you would start any business. We all get carried away in business, thinking to ourselves, oh, we've got a great idea. Entrepreneurs are the worst at this. And we have idea after idea after idea. And the absolute best technique or lesson I've had to learn myself is to rein myself in. Absolutely rein myself in. Unless I've been successful in one of them ideas, don't start doing another idea until you've made that successful, because all that happens is everything becomes unsuccessful. You're a big fool and you don't get anything done. So to be fair, that translates to whether you're starting a new business or an add-on of a business. Make sure you're successful before you start anything else. And whether that's you know, whether that's like a side project of your existing business or it's a completely separate one. It's a very important step, and it took me a while to learn that, and I still have to sort of punch myself a little bit, because we're typical entrepreneurs and with ideas and reining ourselves in, but you have to do it. You have to do it.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting to say. I mean, absolutely, you know, in terms of cash flow, you know, generate. I mean, at the end of the day, business is about making money. You know, it's one of the, if you're not making money, the greatest idea in the world is not a great idea if it doesn't generate you an income or a return. So yeah, absolutely, some really strong ideas. And you know, a lot of things that we talk about when we talk to business owners about getting those fundamentals in place to make sure that they're in a really great position to, you know, scale or grow their business in whatever way they want. So some really good thoughts there. Thanks for that. So finally, just when you wrap up, just what's the best way for people to find out a bit more about, you know, Perfect Parks, what you do, and you know, so where can they find out more information?
Yeah, sure. So if you just go to perfectparks.co.uk, you can check out our website, all our social media links, etc. is all on the website. So yeah, just go and have a look at it, and it explains everything that we do as a company.
Brilliant. Okay, that's great. Well, you know, thanks again, Adam. Appreciate your time. It's been really interesting to find out more about you and your business and your journey. So yeah, thanks. Okay, cheers.
No problem. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks.